Go-Vocational, or Go-Vo for short, is a series of digital vocational English courses with a flexible learning model, easily accessible for students and teachers. A new series from Oxford University Press, Go-Vo offers empowering and inspiring vocational English learning materials that enable learners to find the words they need to achieve their career ambitions. Go-Vo is a new digital learning experience. There are independent learning resources available for learners to study by themselves on any digital device in and out of the classroom. There are resources for collaborative learning that the teacher can show on a screen in either a physical or virtual classroom, plus a series of short podcasts. All course content is accessible for students and teachers via Oxford English Hub. The first vocational area covered in the Go-Vo series is tourism. The tourism sector is a significant source of employment in many parts of the world, and a good level of English is a gateway for employment opportunities. Tourism provides language directly relevant for students' everyday interactions and the real-life scenarios they will experience while working in the tourism industry, especially language that is needed to handle face-to-face contact with customers, guests, visitors and colleagues. Tourism is for learners who are at or above CEFR level A2. Like all Go-Vo courses, tourism has 6 modules. Each module covers a distinct role, communicative function or field of expertise within the tourism industry. At the heart of the flexible learning pedagogy is the separation of productive and receptive language skills into different types of learning models. Receptive language skills, reading and listening, as well as the introduction of vocabulary and grammar, are covered in the independent learning content, learning that students can do by themselves in or out of the classroom. Productive language skills, speaking and writing, as well as practice using the vocabulary and grammar, are covered in the collaborative learning that students do in a class, either physical or virtual, with a teacher and other students. Go-Vocational Tourism has 6 modules, each with 3 elements: Discover, Collaborate and the Career Podcast. Discover. This is learning material students can use by themselves. In each module there are 4 micro-lessons that teach students key language and include listening and reading practice. A 5th micro-lesson provides a chance to review the key language and a quiz to check understanding. Collaborate. This is learning material that teachers will show on screen in a classroom or in virtual lessons. In each module there are 6 sections based around different types of classroom activities. There are sections that cover speaking and role-play activities, discussions, project work, and setting up writing tasks. The Career Podcast. This is an optional micro-lesson based around a career interview podcast. It is connected to one of the careers featured in each module. Students can access this content in their own time, or the teacher may wish to use it as extra listening practice in the classroom. Every module has its own teacher's guide, as well as teaching guidance, answer keys, extension activities and audio scripts. These guides provide pathways for how teachers can blend the different elements in a way that works best for them and their students. Let's look at the Discover element within each module. Discover is for heads down independent learning. It is principally created for access via a mobile device, but it can also be used on a laptop or tablet. Presented in 5 short lessons or micro-lessons that each take around 15 minutes to complete, Discover is designed to boost learners' comprehension and accuracy. The micro-lessons guide learners through the language and situations common to that module's tourism role, and provide heads-down interactions, including regular comprehension check questions and screens that signpost the learner's progress through the content. In each module, the final micro-lesson, Review, is a quiz that tests learners' overall understanding of the concepts and language covered in the module. Now let's look at the Collaborate element within each module. Collaborate is for heads-up collaborative learning. It is principally created for classroom presentation in either a physical classroom or virtual lessons. Presented in 6 separate sections, its aim is to get learners speaking with confidence and gives them practice of productive language skills and group work. The 6 sections are based around different types of classroom activities. There are sections that cover speaking and role-play activities, discussions and project work. Included are language spot grammar videos which also appear in the Discover content. Although there are interactions on some of the screens, they are designed for the teacher to elicit and then show answers to the class. The Collaborate element of each module also includes at least one writing activity that can be completed in class or at home. The Career Podcast is audio content about career progression. Each episode focuses on one particular tourism role that is directly relevant to the module content. The podcasts are housed in short micro-lessons and divided into 3 sections: a panel discussion to introduce the role, an interview with someone in that role, and then back to the panel to discuss the key takeaways. Around the podcast audio, there are light comprehension checking activities. It is an optional piece of content intended especially for those learners who are particularly interested in that module's vocational area. Students can do the Career Podcast independently, or teachers can incorporate into their classroom lessons. Thank you for watching the brief introduction to Go-Vocational Tourism.